Hey, it's Bradley Butin, the Emperor of Awesome, and welcome to Lunch Break Reviews, your weekly bite-sized breakdown of movies, TV, and comics. Every Sunday, I take one title, dig into what the internet's saying, and rate their take using the haterade scale. From sweet lemonade to full-blown toxic fandom. Then I'll serve up my own review using the lunch break point system, plot, acting, entertainment, visuals, and rewatchability, and see where I rank with IMDb, Letterboxd, and Rotten Tomatoes. So whether it's a masterpiece or microwave trash, I'll help you decide if it's worth packing in your lunch tomorrow. Let's see what the brown bag of goodness has in store this week. But first, I have to introduce the co-host of the mostest of the podcast, Nerd Positive. This is the one, the only Brian S. Dennis, where the S can stand for anything.
Yes, sir. Thank you for getting to jump in on one of these. And by the way, Brad, when I was a kid, if you found a miscellaneous brown paper bag on your step, it was full of a lot of things, sir. A lot. It was on fire. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. All right, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to go over just some of the basic casting and all that kind of good stuff of Fantastic Four First Steps, because what other movie would I do this week? Happy Gilmore 2. Sorry, no. And then we'll get into the reviews. This is the fun part.
It cannot be happy without Carl Weathers. So there it is. They should have called it Melancholy Gilmore.
You know what, dude? That's fair. That is really fair. I mean, he was the best part of that movie.
Oh God, yes,
Gosh.
Absolutely.
Man, are you gonna watch it? Are you gonna watch it?
I will, but the first one was decent. Not my favorite Sandler movie, but you're right. Carl Weathers to me was the best part of the original, and obviously R.I.P. to Carl Weathers. Since you can't have him in this one, it's just like okay, similar to The Naked Gun. I mean, Leslie Nielsen will forever be the Captain Draven. So Liam Neeson, I got nothing respect for you, but also I don't want Liam Neeson funny. I don't.
You know, that's fair. It feels like it's going to be like that serious funny, and it's just going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, we shall see.
The reviews are coming in pretty hot on it, though.
Nice.
They're saying Naked Gun is very, very true to the series. Is from what I've
good.
So,
by the way, podcast universe, when Bradley Butin was working his way through college, he was known on Saturday nights to be a dancer known as the Naked Gun.
It is true. It is true. I'm sure there's photos out there somewhere.
Yes. That's how you met your wife. All right, bro.
All right. So we're going to start off with we're talking about Fantastic Four, and we're going to go over the creatives. Here's the writers, directors, and I'm going to go over what are some of the things that they're known for. Once we know all that, it kind of makes a little bit more sense about the movie. In this one, you're going to see a little theme here, buddy. All right, so this is directed by Matt Shakman, and he directed WandaVision. He did a couple episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Great, and Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Did you ever watch that?
I did. That was pretty good.
It was good. It was really good.
Also, just to give a little background, our favorite show is Psych. Did you know he directed 5 episodes of Psych?
I did not get that far in IMDb. I did not know that. That is...
Including, just to throw in there, he directed my personal favorite episode, which is Dual Spires, which is the Twin Peaks inspired episode of Psych.
Love it. Wait for it. All right. This has been written by Josh Freeman. He wrote the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, War of the Worlds, Terminator, Dark Fate, a lot of Foundation. I don't know if you watched the Foundation at all.
Mm-hmm.
And Avatar: Way of Water.
Nice.
And then we have Eric Pearson, who is wrote Thor Ragnarok, Black Widow, Thunderbolts, Godzilla vs. Kong. And we need a little bit more music in here, man.
Also wrote Transformers 1. You and I checked that. Well, the screenplay for Transformers 1, you and I checked that out. That was really good as well. So good writing team behind this.
Absolutely, man. I'm pleasantly surprised. And I'm pretty sure Matt Shakman's going to be able to do a lot more stuff after this.
Yes, absolutely. The Russos and Shakman, I think, are going to pretty much lead the to you. Absolutely.
All right, next I got the top stars, and here what I got. We'll play a little bit of a game here. I'm gonna have you guess some of their best known for movies. Some of these are gonna be a surprise. All right, Pedro Pascal plays Reed Richards. Brian, give me what you think are his top known for parts.
Parts, period, or strictly movies?
Strict. So the way IMDb does it is whatever is more trending the most for that character. So
all right.
What is he most known for?
So for Pedro Pascal, it's got to be, I would say, The Last of Us as Joel, and then I put maybe after that I'm going Mando from in Mandalorian.
Okay, two more.
Sand Spider in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And I can't remember the role he played, but I know he was in Gladiator 2. So I'm going to go his role in Gladiator 2.
You got 3 of the 4. Kingsman, The Golden Circle.
I almost went Kingsman. Kingsman. Okay.
All right, next, Vanessa Kirby.
He's been in a lot of stuff, by the way. He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's a busy man. He is a very, very busy man.
Yes.
I mean, and he's good. He's good. I mean, I'll get into my thoughts about him in this coming up, but
especially the facial hair.
You can't go wrong with
the facial hair.
Yeah. All right, man. Same thing. Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm.
Okay. I recognize her from Jupiter Ascending. Is that in there?
Nope. But I forgot she was in there. Yeah.
Oh, the Mission Impossible movie. She was in a couple of those,
Mission
right?
Impossible. Yep. Fallout. Yep.
That's gonna be where I know her from. Okay. What else you got?
The Crown.
Okay, wasn't a big watcher of The Crown. Okay,
me neither. And then Pieces of a Woman, never heard of that. And then Fantastic Four: First Steps is also in there. So I mean, I thought she had more of a to be known for other things other than that, but that's what IMDb says. That's what we're gonna go with. All right, man. Ebon Moss Backrack. I'm saying that wrong.
That's okay.
Ben Grimm.
That's okay. Absolutely, gotta be the bear. Gotta be the bear.
Yep.
And then beyond that, I'm gonna go with
Fantastic Four: First Steps is in there. Yep.
Yeah, and let's see. Anything else I know him from? Was he in Andor?
He might have been, but I didn't get there. I think.
Okay.
But he's not known for it.
Yeah, I think but definitely the bear is where I know him from. Okay, what else you got, bro?
Girls, and he was in The Punisher TV series.
Was he really? Okay.
Yeah, he was in 12 episodes. He was David Lieberman in The Punisher.
All right, there we go.
That one blew my mind. So this is his second Marvel role. So good on him. Good on him. All right, Joseph Quinn, Johnny Storm.
All right, let's see here. Well, again, I'm gonna go, and it's probably, but again, because we were chatting about this earlier, I'm gonna go with Gladiator 2.
Yes, it's in there.
Okay. Also, he's not quite as known as the others, especially Pedro, so I'm gonna assume that First Steps is in there for him.
It is.
And then
the other two.
We talked about earlier, Stranger Things.
Yep, there's one more. This should be a really big give me too. We both loved this movie.
You got me. Quiet Place, maybe.
Quiet Place, day one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, we'll just go over the last two here because they're a little bit less. But Ralph Ineson plays Galactus, and he was great. He was great as Galactus.
I would say, again, we'll get more into the details of it. But, when we've done the other part, we talked about what are the things that we really wanted this to get right. It was the portrayal of Galactus, and he absolutely did a phenomenal job as Galactus.
Yes, he was in The Witch, Green Knight, The Creator, and To Catch a Killer.
Perfect.
And then lastly, Julia Garner plays Shalabal, or as we know her as the Silver Surfer. Yes. She's been in a bunch of stuff. The Assistant, Ozark's First Steps, Martha.
I'm gonna say I knew her from Ozarks. Yes.
Same too, man. That's like but that show Ozarks was so good. So,
And
All right, man.
honestly, I didn't even recognize her until they do, as we get more into it. When they do the flashback scene, you see her without the silver surfer skin. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, and she did. She was fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get into some critic reviews. So we're gonna see what the critics are saying about this. We're gonna start with John Flickinger from the Flick Pick. And all these are from Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. The Fantastic Four felt like the Jetsons meet Star Trek. The retro futuristic 60s vibe was perfect, but the character dynamics and chemistry were fantastic. It's a solid, straightforward adaptation done right. We finally got a great Fantastic Four movie. Agree, same. All right, Louisa Moore from Screen Zealot says, with this brightly colored retro futuristic 1960s setting, it's so nice to see a Marvel film that isn't trying desperately to be forcefully stuffed into an extended universe timeline. All right. Andrea Chase from
that. It was nice that it really was about the Fantastic Four. It wasn't, and again, with the world that it took place in, that they really are the ideas of the superhero. It is them, and again, they did a great job of really making this the Fantastic Four. Absolutely.
All right. Andrea Chase from Killer Movie Review says, there is a sense of fun as well as suspense, but never cynicism or irony. Instead, there is an innocent optimism of that time, when the culture believed that science could make a better future for everyone, and that anything was possible. That's a great review. I think that's a great review.
And it actually, with that review, and again, because when we get into some of the things, when you look at the fact that, you know, this movie is supposed to take place in a 1960s era-esque time frame, some of the decisions that the characters makes more sense when you look at through that lens of, you know, there was an inherent goodness and faith in people. Again, at least that was the stance that they were taking, and life is always more complicated than that. But I agree with that. That's a great review.
And last one from Gazane Sophia from Lady Geeks Media. Fantastic Four: The First Steps is a near perfect origin story as a lush, gorgeously shot spectacle with exceptional casting, a profoundly moving narrative, and a compelling story to tell. The film shines as it underscores the significance of empathy.
Love it.
All right, man. Critics love this movie. Yeah. Let's check out some of the audience reviews.
All right,
and then we're going to introduce the haterade scale. So here's my quick disclaimer. These reviews are chosen based on title alone. I haven't read them beforehand, so let's dive in together. Please excuse any mispronunciations as I read them exactly as they appear, punctuation quirks and all. All right, Brian, once we read it, we're going to take a look at the haterade scale. The haterade scale is a 4-level system of judge the spice and snark in the reviews. Not all reviews are created equal. Some sip sweet lemonade, others chug chaos. This is how we separate the calm critiques from the unhinged hot takes. All right, Brian, are you ready?
Let's do it.
This is a 1 out of 10 from Trident, and it is called Did We Watch the Same Movie? Warning, spoilers. I will put as much flair as I possibly can in this. I eagerly anticipated this movie and went to see it in the theaters last night. And aside from some of the set designs, pretty much everything was either painfully dull, insultingly nonsensical, or both. Our main 4 characters are all extremely bland, and occasionally they try to throw in some details that are supposed to make us see these 4 as fleshed out characters, but honestly, all 4 of them are just there to stay in on the mark and deliver their lines. These are all great actors, but they were simply awful in this. Out of all the Fantastic Family, the CGI robot had the most character out of all of them, and you can't even understand a word he says. To add insult to injury, about 85% of the movie revolves around listening to these painfully dull renditions of these characters simply talk to each other in various locations. This is a superhero movie that barely does any superhero-ing. There's a little introduction montage at the beginning, a chase scene in the middle where they don't even do much. but still, it's in a spaceship. And then the final battle, where everyone except Sue and a little bit of Johnny is useless. In fact, there's a scene earlier on where Ben, the Thing, picks up a car to show off his strength to some school kids. I'm convinced they put this in there just so they actually had a scene where the audience could see his strength. Aside from showing off, there's a whole of one scene where he actually uses his abilities, and if you blink, you miss it. The same goes for the stretchy protagonist, Reed Richards. He only uses his power in the opening montage for a split second, and then next time you see him use it, it's meaningful way when Galactus is pulling him apart like string cheese. And just like with Ben, I'm positive they added some random sprinklings throughout the movie of him stretching his arms unnecessary to reach out to something, because otherwise he doesn't do anything fantastic at all in this movie. In fact, only Johnny and Sue get some decent screen time for their powers, and theirs seemingly gets shoehorned into every scene they can find. But all that could be somewhat forgiven if only the plot had any semblance of logic. I'll spare you most of the details, but a few really do deserve mentioning. When the F-Board returned from space after their meeting with Galactus, Reed Richards, the smartest man alive, thought it was a good idea to tell the whole world that the only way to save the planet is for Reed and Sue to sacrifice their child, and that they won't do it. That is a fair hit. Yep. I am far from the smartest man on the planet, but even I know that it may not have been the smartest idea to divulge that bit of information to 6 billion people who only want to survive. Later on, when understandably the whole world now hates the F-Board because they refuse to give up their baby, even with literal Galactus cult being created as a result, Sue walks out with the said baby, delivers a 60-second Disney speech, and suddenly the whole world decides they love the F-Board again and will kumbaya into a global cooperative to teleport the planet to a place where Galactus, the primordial intergalactic space traveler, doesn't know where to look. The cult's gone. They're kumbayaing now. Honestly, the movie is littered with nonsense like this. And based on how lackluster the main cast performance is, I'm assuming they're aware of the slop they got themselves dragged into. I am baffled by all the good reviews this movie is getting, because to me, this movie quite easily ranks among the lowest of the low that the MCU has to offer. Okay, alright man, here's the haterade scale I got. Lemonade. Sweet, sometimes sour, mostly refreshing. 2, classic haterade, salty, sharp, and maybe too confident. Double shot of dumbass. Wild logic, personal attacks, we're losing touch with reality here, guys. And finally, toxic fandom, unhinged, gatekeeping, legendary hate. Where do you want to put this?
I actually, upon hearing the entire review, I think it was a fair review. So the one that has some sprinkling of that. Speaking of that, I know we've already said spoiler alerts. In the movie itself, when Reed Richards discloses the issue with Franklin and Galactus, I at that moment go, why? Again, he's the smartest man on the planet, supposedly in this version. Why would he do that? Now, I will say this: what I was alluding to with the first review, with one of the reviews from the critics, is remember the time frame in which this is, that people are trusting. They went into expecting the Fantastic Four to have always won. So when you put that lens on it, I can maybe excuse that a little bit, that they've never failed. And he was sharing this. The other thing that leads to the review that really criticized with this review regarding Reed and his powers, if again, this is a person that probably has majority of their familiarity with this from the movie. In the comics, while the 4 of them are the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards really does not want to be a superhero. Reed Richards is a scientist who has superpowers. He's not necessarily a superhero. So within the comics, you don't see him lean into his powers nearly as much as Ben or Sue or Johnny. So to be fair to that character, you wouldn't see it. And I love how they demonstrate his powers as almost like Spider-Man, how he scaled walls and sling. And I do like that, and I personally did like Galactus stretching him, because that has been a thing within various comic stories of what you would do to Mr. Fantastic. You stretch him out and see if he breaks. So
Yeah,
I think
however,
this was a very fair
he
review.
barely stretched him though.
He stretched into the costume. He stretched into the costume. It was a little stretch, and that was the part of all. And this is a movie with a lot of special effects.
Yeah,
That was probably the most obviously CGI.
Yeah,
Of the CGI, the stretch of Pedro Pascal. By the way, Pedro Pascal was not the star of this movie.
no,
And that's it. If you go into this movie expecting it to be a Pedro Pascal led vehicle, like The Last of Us, like The Mandalorian, and any of the episodes that he's in Game of Thrones, that is not it. He definitely plays second banana to Galactus, to Johnny Storm, to the Silver Surfer, to Herbie, and in points Ben and Sue. But he played an understated character, which again is probably more true to Reed Richards than someone. He's not Tony Stark. He's not this overabundant leader. So I actually liked this review. Again, this person didn't like the movie as much as I did, but at the same time, I think a lot of their points were fair.
All right, so we're gonna go lemonade on this one, just the one.
I'll go lemonade on that one.
All right, so some lemonade here next. I have a 1-star review from Karin. We're gonna call this Karen C-33, and this is Fantastic Four: Galactus vs. the Pigeons. Warning: spoilers. A cosmic turkey stuffed with plot holes. So let me get this straight. 4 mutated humans, 1 stretchy guy, 1 glow stick, a ghost bubble, and walking rock defeat Galactus, a planet-devouring celestial god who's older than time. Each eats solar systems for breakfast and has a herald with the intelligence of 1 million civilizations. This is like watching Superman lose to a polar bear because the bear believed in itself. Johnny Storm lights up the space conveniently, forgetting that there's no oxygen to fuel fire. Sue makes invisible space bubbles strong enough to shield from a cosmic god's wrath. Reed flexes his rubber abs like it's going to matter, and Ben Grimm punches his way into a ship that's made of matter not even NASA could identify. Then there's a Silver Surfer, being capable of zipping across galaxies in seconds, get outmaneuvered by a couple of humans with barely a learner's license in astrophysics. Next thing you know, he's giving up secrets and feeling human emotions, brah. And Galactus, the guy whose footsteps shake dimensions, gets defeated like a common housefly with a hangover. They trap him with, I don't even know what, friendship, a motivational speech? This isn't just bad storytelling. It's like watching a group of pigeons fight a jet engine and somehow the pigeons win and give a TED talk afterward. This movie didn't need a rewrite. It needed an exorcism.
This was funny. Funny. Yes. Again, on the haterade, similar to the first one, these are fair points.
Yeah.
I did like the final defeat of Galactus when it came to Sue pushing him through the portal. My knock on that, going back to the first big budget Fantastic Four movie with Jessica Alba, they showed that when she used her powers too long, she got a bit of a nosebleed. I think that to show the exertion. She's a mother fighting for her child. So that sets the stage of her being able to do things she's never been able to do before, and the toll that has on her. I think they would add a few of those that actually sells a bit better. But again, similar to the first one that we did, I love the lemonade scale because again, these are things that are legit plot holes. What matters between if you enjoyed it or not is if it impacted the suspension of disbelief. That's exactly what it was. By the way, why this didn't bring up, I want to say one of the things that I enjoyed most is how they treated not only the Silver Surfer character, but showing the Silver Surfer surf through the space battle. That last scene, again, as the Surfer actually goes against Galactus, I thought that was so well done. When you got Johnny there, then you've got the Surfer. I thought that was extremely well done. But again, this to me gets eliminated as well, probably because the more fair points, but so darn funny.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give this classic haterade, salty, sharp, and maybe a little too confident, but I
Okay.
loved it anyway. So yeah, we're going to stick with it. All right, I got one more review we're going to go over from W Viking. And this is, again, is a 1 out of 10. Warning, spoilers. This one is called Horribly Miscast and Horribly Written Story. The film has no soul. I have no particular attachment to Fantastic Four. I read a lot of comics when I was a kid, but ones where FF were just some of the characters present rather than the focus, so I have a different perspective. With that, I think the cast is horrible. Barring the Thing, Mole Man in costume, and Galactus, all who looked great. The others looked nothing like the comic, particularly Pascal and Kirby. Okay. I could get one of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, really, Kirby? Okay.
The action is dull and lacks weight or meaning. The characters are slimeness, whatever, sure. So you never get attached to them. Franklin should never have been in this first movie. If you not attached to FF, why do you care about Baby? So he is from the comics, and people may get excited for that because it's new, but taking only the film into account, the introduction of the baby is too fast, and really is just a plot device to serve the story in a rather weak way. The Thing has no pathos because you never know him as just Ben. Chiklis did a far better job. Galactus, through looking great, is wasted, though looking great, I think. And you never really feel his immense power and the threat such a being brings. He should have been saved from the Avengers film, or for an Avengers film.
That's fair.
Yeah, proper hints in several films, a la Thanos. Finally, I get why they went for the whole 60s thing, but it ended up making the whole world feel fake. So when it's threatened, you feel nothing for an overly CG enclosed world. It feels like the world doesn't really exist outside the Fantastic Four Tower, the Baxter Building, and that's the issue. The film is soulless. In a world, the characters and the story, so you really don't care or feel anything. Marvel need to quit until they refine the special sauce that made the Infinity Saga so good, despite not every movie in that wider story being excellent. Since Endgame, there really hasn't been a great Marvel movie, honestly. The only half-decent one was Shang-Chi, apart from Tony splattering a boy. All right, there it is, man. What do we think?
I'm going to get a more full-on haterade because there's some points that I patently disagree with. Now, we both talked about some of the, not even the casting, but the visual of the castings, particularly Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. But the rest of the group looked very much like they've always been depicted. When it comes to the Thing, again, that is a fair challenge. However, remember, this is not an origin story. If I remember the timeline from the movie correctly, the movie takes place, the bulk of the movie in a way, takes place 4 years after, get it, 4 years after they return from their exposure to becoming the Fantastic Four. So in that time, Ben Grimm, you would expect, would have had time to adjust to being a Thing. What Chiklis does in the Fantastic Four from several years ago is he shows the struggle that he has as being a Thing, which is legitimate, as he is the only member of the Fantastic Four that cannot either turn their powers off or appear human like the other three. And that is a major plot point with Ben Grimm. Yeah. So that being glossed over is a fair hit, but so much of the other was, I think, again, people didn't like it and had a little spite with that review. So I'm giving this one a hater. I'm giving it a full-blown haterade.
Yep, same. I agree, man. All right, so did the reviews change your mind at all? Let me know in the comments, or if you want to reach out, hey, we're here to talk. It is time, buddy. We're going to put this on the lunch break point system. And are you ready for that?
I'm ready, my friend.
All right, dude. Okay. All right, so lunch break point system is a unique lunch-themed rating system designed to help you decide if a movie TV show is worth your time. Each title is scored across 5 key categories: plot, acting, entertainment, visuals, and rewatchability, with 5 points per category, totaling 25 points. Bonus points can be awarded for standout elements, movie fog, Oscar worthiness, or deducted for major missteps. Think cringe factor. The final score determines if it's a pack it or toss it in the trash. A bad lunch can ruin your day. And here we go. All right, man. Fantastic for the first test. We'll start with the plot. It's a simple plot. It's from a simpler time where people were into better things. Maybe I should say, I guess, in a way. You know, it is a very, very much about fate. And
it is.
And that's one of the things that I really liked about it. You know, they bring in Galactus, they herald. Man, the story. What do you give it? The story 1 through 5.
I'm gonna give the story a 3, but I think going back to the previous review, it encapsulated what it needed to do. We have too many origin stories, so they gave us the vignette to give us the origin story, but it gave us a primary villain for the Fantastic Four, which is Galactus. It gave us the introduction of Dr. Doom, and it gave us the introduction of Franklin Richards. Again, if you're a comic book person, you know the importance of Franklin Richards, and that leads to most likely what's going to be a significant plot point for Avengers Doomsday. We talked about this on the other pod. If you compare this to Superman is meant to lead the new DC universe, versus Fantastic Four is meant to be a part of Avengers Doomsday, along with the Guardians, along with the new Avengers, along with the Thunderbolts. So there's a lot of pieces to this. I think it got done what it needs to done. It is a straightforward plot. I'm cool giving it a 3.
All right, man. You know, I really like the story of it, of Fantastic Four. I think I'm going to go with 4. I think if 4 feels right on that. It's not perfect by any means, but man, like, it was enjoyable, and I really, really liked the wholesome feeling of it, man.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, like, and I got to see it with all 3 of my daughters, which that doesn't happen very often. So, man, story is great.
Right. And again, not looking at the rating of this was the most family friendly of the Marvel movies, as it should have been. I mean, also, the Avengers are a team. The Guardians are a group is basically a group of pirates. Yeah. And the Fantastic Four are both literally and figuratively a family. And I like that bled through and through. Absolutely.
You want to go up to a 4, or should we go down to a 3?
Let's go to a 4.
All right, we're going to stay at 4. Okay, writing. Did they sell the movie, or acting? Did the acting sell it?
I think the acting sold it. Again, I think Pedro Pascal took a lesser or more muted approach because he was supposed to, but I absolutely think the acting was really good. I think it had enough humor. I love the Thing Johnny dynamic, which again leads through in all the comics of basically brothers who like messing with each other. So you've got the good-looking younger brother with the cool-looking powers of the Flame On. But by the way, we didn't hear, I don't think there was any Flame On reference in the actual movie. And you have the Thing, who they played a lot of the It's Clobbering Time and showed that to the end. So that, to me, actually, I'm going to give it a 4 for the acting. I thought the acting was really well done.
All right, man. Yeah, I thought the acting was good, but for me, the biggest part was buying Pedro Pascal. I get that what they were going for. They were going for, I'm so smart, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
In Vanessa Kirby,
he doesn't have the EQ, right? He doesn't have the social skills, right? Okay.
Right. You know, and Vanessa Kirby being the leader works in this world. I mean, it does. Like, and it gave her something better to do other than being like a side character. Like, this is bad. She's a better Invisible woman than Jessica Alba, for sure. I give it 3 or 4. I'm good with going 4 on that.
And I like how they handled her powers as well. Everything from with the baby to the ship. Yeah. So they really did a good job of making her, based on her abilities with invisibility and the force fields, making her probably the strongest of the Fantastic Four, which is different than oftentimes in the comics and in the previous movies. That's pretty been relegated to Johnny Storm as the Human Torch, given his powers and how they visually looking, and he oftentimes is the one that, if you need the real that force for power, it's been him or maybe the Thing. I like the fact that they showed in how they handled the battle with Galactus that she's actually probably the most powerful of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and you never really feel that in any other iteration of
Right.
it. So,
And I really loved it. And by the way, she did this being pregnant majority of the movie, so good job out of her.
yeah, actually. So we're going to do a 4 there as well. I think we can agree on that. All right, next, entertainment. Was this worth your time?
It was. It was. Started off a little bit slowly, but I think that was the whole point, was to build to it. Again, this keeps coming back to the previous review. You have to understand what this was. This was them preparing for a potentially apocalyptic event. So this actually, to me, struck me almost similar to Armageddon, as we know it's coming, and we have months and months to prepare. So that is why there's a long distance. There's a physical part of the movie that we've been introduced to Galactus.
Yeah,
we know Galactus is coming and how the world is going to handle that, and that took up a lot of screen time. But I think that was well spent. So I found it entertaining.
All right, man. Put a number 1 through 5.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I'll go with a 4.
Okay. I mean, you know what? I agree. I think a 4 is the right answer as well. Because you know what? Like, I had a good time at the movie.
Absolutely.
It felt right. There was only a few things that didn't really land for me, but those things were big enough to take me out of the movie fog. So yeah, I mean, I'm 4. I'm good at 4. All right, next, visuals. All right, man, eye candy, dude. Tell me, like, how would you rate 1 through 5?
Yeah, there were some hiccups, but I gotta say, what they got right was Galactus. What they got right was the Silver Surfer. What they got right was Johnny Storm. Even though they never quite explained why I get the uniform. But they made a point to point out the uniform and the spacesuits are flame retardant, but he wore regular clothes for a significant amount of this movie, and they never explained why Johnny's clothes don't burn. So unlike in the others, they made a point, unless he was wearing something very specifically, that clothes would burn. So there are a few, like I said, what you want to say, movie fog or suspended disbelief. But as far as the overall effect, that they got Galactus right and they got Silver Surfer right, I again am going to give this one a 4. I think that overwhelms, and how they handled Herbie, I think that overwhelms any other small missteps or plot holes when it comes to the logic of the powers.
Yeah, I agree with you again, man. Yeah, I mean, this was a very, very beautiful movie to watch. I mean, like, the setting, the back, everything about the 60s aesthetic, it really, really worked. Especially if you know, I mean, that was when it came out. I mean, so, yeah, man, 4, I'm giving it 4. All right, next. Rewatchability. What are you giving?
I'm going to give this a 3. The reason I'm giving it that low of a mark is I think what's going to happen is, as the next round of movies comes across, it won't be as rewatchable. I think other movies are going to trump it. I would say this, to me, is not as rewatchable as Captain America, Brave New World. I put it up there potentially with Thunderbolts, maybe a little behind Thunderbolts. So again, I think there's going to be other movies that trump it, but it's definitely worth a rewatch. Obviously, when it hits Disney Plus, I'm going to give it a rewatch. So I'm going to give it a 3 overall, though.
Yeah, I'm about the same, man. I'm like, I'll watch it again, but I'm not going out to watch it. I'm like, Superman, dude, I wanted to watch that more than once.
Absolutely.
But like this, I didn't feel like I needed to.
It also didn't have those moments that really, I mean, there's moments in the first Avengers where they all kind of when they're all getting ready to, after the Hulk, when he goes that epic line of "I'm always angry," and we get the Hulk, and they're standing ready for the Battle of New York. In Age of Ultron, when Iron Man goes, "We're gonna do this together," and that led to the fight. Even in Thunderbolts, where they gave each member of the Thunderbolts a moment where they saved people, where the Thunderbolts are ready to deal with Sentry, there wasn't that moment, right? No. There wasn't that one particular moment. Like, I gotta watch this. There was no Captain America. Finally, we get to hear the line of Avengers Assemble, right? There wasn't that moment in Fantastic Four, which again, we talk about rewatchability many times. I rewatch things to get to a specific moment. There's not that moment in this movie.
Gotcha. I agree, man. So we're at 19 out of 25 points, which isn't a bad score.
No.
Can you think of any bonuses or penalties? I don't really feel like I need to give it any bonuses or penalties on this one.
No. Again, I really and if I wasn't, and I'm not going to give it a bonus at all. But I will say the one thing that again, the thing we already mentioned, the other thing was they ended it with the last image is what you needed, which was Dr. Doom on his knees next to Franklin with the mask in his hand, the cloak over his head, not a word to be shared, but just absolutely just we got Doom. Doom. And by the way, I'm sorry. By the way, remember,
go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right. By the way, so one of the things, and you're right, you didn't get Galactus in an Avengers movie, which would have also made sense. Just because Galactus is gone in this movie doesn't mean Galactus is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
I also feel that mid-credit scene made up a lot of ground that the movie didn't go. But also, I mean, now he's after Franklin. He's going to get Franklin, who may or may not be the boy's dad.
Yeah.
And he's going to take him to Earth 616.
Absolutely.
In the Fantastic Four. I mean, like, he's going to kidnap Franklin.
Absolutely.
I mean, it happens in the comics.
It happens in the comics. You know what? Maybe that's the undercurrent for the second child as well. You know, you never know about that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all those things. And again, Franklin Richards, this goes deep into the world of nerdom. Franklin Richards is an Omega level mutant. He absolutely is up there. He's one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful mutant that we have in the Marvel Universe. Yeah. So that introduction of him, for anyone that said that Franklin doesn't make sense, Franklin 100% makes sense. Just like you needed the Infinity Stones to be something that would unite all the various storylines and movies, you need a threat. And the threat in this one is not Franklin, but what Dr. Doom may do with Franklin.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, there we go. All right. So let's talk about where we rank amongst everybody else. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, man. So we are at a 19 out of 25. And IMDb rating, you want to take a guess? Out of 10?
7.
7.5. Good job. So I think that's pretty close. I think we're right in there with that. I think we're pretty close to that. All right, now we're going to go to Metacritic. The Metacritic is they are 64 out of 100. And that's with 54 critic reviews. So again, I think we're a little bit over that, but I think that's fine. The user scores is 6.6 out of 10, and that's based on 292 user reviews.
Sure.
So I think we're a little bit higher than the Metacritic.
And I think the reason that we're drifting higher is I think both of us went into this with more of the comic book history of this, so things make sense to us. And I don't think we got hung on the fact that the Silver Surfer is female versus male in this one. So
agree. Letterboxd, here we go, 3.6 out of 5, and so we're right in line with Letterboxd.
Yep.
All right, Rotten Tomatoes.
This is going to be interesting.
All right, do you want to take a guess at the tomato meter? This is the critics.
Yeah, this is, and Rotten Tomatoes giving us an A to F score. Or is it a number score?
A number, so it's a percentile.
Okay. Oh, percentage. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna give it a. Now that we're getting the Sunday as we record, I'm gonna give it a 72%.
72%. All right, it is higher than that. I'm gonna give you another guess.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I think 90 is too high now that we've gotten 3 days of it. I'm gonna go 81%.
87%.
Still low. Okay.
87% critics love the movie. All right, and the popcorn meter, that is the audience. You want to take a stab at this one?
Same percentage, right?
Yeah, same percent. It is percentage.
Okay. Audiences tend to go higher than critics usually in movies, so I'm gonna get us from a 90%.
93.
That's really high.
That is very high. That is higher than I thought it was going to be. So I think we're in there. I think we did a good job. We did a good job evaluating. going through everything. I think we're in line with everything. You can hear us talk about this again on the Nerd Positive podcast as well. Dude.
I also think, just to in line with movies, I think Marvel has shown also that they listen to fans, and that they take things that fans have stated and made positive movements towards it. I mean, if you want proof of that, the way that the Iron Man 3, a lot of criticism, Iron Man 3, they addressed and fixed with Shang-Chi, as well as All Hail the King, the little mini movie that they did, a mini show that they did with that. So they even with Deadpool and Wolverine, I mean, they definitely listen to fans. And so this, in majority of Marvel sequels, in fact, the only ones I can really think of that kind of dropped the ball a little bit would be Iron Man 3 and Ant-Man and Wasp, the Quantumania. So basically Ant-Man and Wasp 3 and Captain America 3, which we've talked about before. If you make a trilogy, probably stop at 2.
Yeah.
So their movies tend to get better within a series. So Fantastic Four 2 has already been greenlit. So I absolutely expect to see this franchise grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. Fantastic Four, we've talked about it several times on the podcast, is Marvel has to have a well done Fantastic Four, and they got one now. So, I mean, it does open up better doors for them, and it definitely is going to be a good bridge between the Avengers and X-Men as well. So, I mean, dude, I'm happy I saw it.
And maybe we get a revamp of the Inhumans too. Maybe they can actually revisit the humans and Inhumans and make them better. Since, again, if you don't know that, trust me, there's a big overlap between the Inhumans and the Fantastic Four as well. Yeah. So maybe we get that fixed as well.
Absolutely. All right, man. Any final thoughts on Fantastic Four?
It's definitely worth the watch. Again, especially, and I think this is also where you and I took it. We didn't take this as a single source movie. We took it compared to the 3 previous ones that we've seen, and this is definitely the best of those. And again, they got Galactus right, they got the Silver Surfer right, they got overall, I think, the casting right, and setting it in a 60s type. Especially, I feel bad for the actors who had to look like incredibly hot wool suits instead of spandex or more battle armor. But again, it gave it that 60s vibe. So I definitely think if you've not seen Fantastic Four First Steps, it is worth a watch. Whether you see it in the theater, I think the theater will do Galactus much more justice than the small screen, but it's definitely worth a watch.
All right, man. And I'm with you. Now that is it for today's Lunch Break Reviews. If you agree, disagree, or just want to shout about it, drop a comment, tag me, or come grab a seat at the lunch table. I'm always looking for new voices, so if you want to co-host an episode like Brian S. Dennis, today, pitch your pick, debate my score. My inbox is always open. Don't forget to follow the podcast, leave a 5-star review if you're hungry for more, and check me out on TikTok and the YouTube for quick hits using the lunch break point system. Until next time, pack smart, watch well, and I'll see you on the next lunch break. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, folks.